Hey everybody, Stephanie here, and this is my first Explorer Wiki. This was a really interesting exercise, and I did not expect to find my findings and follow along. Okay, so for this first Explorer activity, I chose exploration number 16, the survey. So I created a simple survey and I just texted the link out to a few of my friends, a few people that I've worked with, and then they asked me if I wanted some of their family members who I knew to fill it out or their spouses to fill it out. And I said, sure. And I'm going to present my findings as I took pictures of the survey, of the questions, of the responses, and I also have a spreadsheet. So here is the survey. The questions were, what is your favorite color? Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, pink, black, white, or other. What is your favorite book? What is your favorite snack? What is your favorite candy? Do you know your astrology sign? And if yes, what is your sign? So simple questions that I I just kind of thought of on the fly, like simple things that I ask my friends pretty normally, or things that are in the Secret Santa survey that I have used multiple times because I'm usually the person at the school who does Secret Santa. So these were just some questions that I usually put in there. And here is the spreadsheet of my results. So for favorite colors, we got maroon, white, blue, yellow, two greens, yellow, purple, yellow, white, black, and blue. And I also took the survey, and so mine is yellow, so one of the yellows is mine. I'll let you guess. Then for favorite books, we got From Blood and Ash, A Painted House. That one is my mom. The Stand, Station 11, Oliver Twist. That one is my husband. The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. I know that's my friend Amanda. Being and Time. I don't know what that is. I Have Too Many Favorites. Red Rising, Daisy Jones and the Six, Daisy Jones and the Six, and Golden, The Miraculous Rise of Steph Curry. And I think that one is one of my friend's husband. And I think Daisy Jones is also one of my friends that I've worked with before. Anyway, then we have what is your favorite snack? We got Takis, ice cream, Simply Baked Cheetos, chips, candy, popcorn chips, Gardettos, Chobani Flips yogurt. Ah, yes, that is my oldest sister, Michelle. Oatmeal and potato chips. Favorite candies: Red Vines, Sour Worms, Hershey Kisses, Reese's, Sour Patch Kids, Hershey's Cookies and Cream, Dark Chocolate, Twix, Much McCullet, Nestle Crunch, and two more Red Vines. This makes so much sense because the first one is my friend that I work with right now who's from California, and the last two are the daughter and wife of my assistant at my last school, and they're also from California. So I think it's interesting that my the of the four people on here who are from California, three of them chose red vines. Mostly yeses, two nos on do you know your astrology sign, and then the astrology signs are there. Okay, so here is the chart of what is your favorite color. It's a pretty good spread. I wasn't really expecting that. When I got this initially, I thought this was a really cool chart showing it. And I also think it's really interesting how Google assigns the colors to their graphs, because if you notice, the word red has a blue, and orange is red, green is yellow, yellow is green, blue is purple. So it's just interesting. Next, here's the results for what is your favorite candy, and then here's the astrology sign. The I thought it was interesting, the yes and no here, and then here is the choices. Um, oh, the 27.3, there's two Sagittarius. Very interesting. Huh. Or I think maybe that's three Sagittarius. I'm not doing math right now. Okay, so what drew me to this particular exploration? So I've always been interested in what people like and think about, and I thought this would be a really fun exploration. I consider myself an elder emo, and if you have been following TikTok or any music festivals, you'll know that When We Were Young Festival is a hot topic right now. So the elder emos, like myself, have really been using that term a lot lately. So I consider myself an elder emo because I was 14 in 2004 when MySpace emerged, and surveys where you shared your thoughts, likes, and dislikes on the bulletin boards were a trend. Since then, I've always enjoyed reading these and filling them out to learn about myself and my friends. When Facebook actually came about, I was really sad that bulletin boards were no longer a thing because I always enjoyed doing those surveys. So I think that this might be applicable to a study in my particular research area. Not really my particular research area, just a fun study to do. Was I'm also really interested in astrology. I'm not one of those people who like judges people based on their signs, and I'm not like into the big three, but I do think it's interesting how people behave based on their astrological signs and how the time of year and how the moon is placed in the sky and what's going on with like the other planets. I think that's all really interesting and how they affect us. So I think if I had thought initially about adding the question, "Do you believe in astrology?" But I didn't. I just already thought that those questions were enough, and just didn't really want to add that last one. And I think it would be an interesting study to add that question in and then see how the individual astrology signs correlate to those who do or do not believe in astrology. So, seeing how Scorpios, choose, do they believe, do they not? And then is that a characteristic of a Scorpio um, to be uh, to question things and to say no, I don't believe, or is that a characteristic of a Sagittarius? So, seeing how those things would relate. This exploration actually felt kind of silly because I was sending the link out saying, "Hey, do you mind taking the survey for me? It's actually for a class." And then what was interesting was I would either get done or I would get done. How does this relate to a doctoral program? Or like, how does this relate to a class? And I would have to explain this is for a qualitative research course, and we're reading a book about how to explore the world. And so that was what felt like I was being vulnerable. So that was interesting having to share things that I normally don't about like what's going on in my courses other than coursework. So normally when people ask, how's your program going? I just say like, oh, I'm working on this and this, or I'm doing this research right now, or whatever. But it did excite me to see the results and learn about my friends' favorite things. One of my favorite times of the year is when we do surprises for teachers, and I always like to learn about my teacher friends' likes and dislikes so that I can give gifts because I love giving and receiving gifts. So, what did this exploration think about, and how did it influence your cognition? I had to include the definition of cognition because for some reason I am tired and my brain thought that when I was thinking about cognition that I was thinking of connotative definitions instead of the word cognition. So I put this in here. And the survey made me think about how the people that I asked to take the survey are all a part of my life because we have either worked together in the past or I have met through those that I have met in the past. So like I said, one was my assistant at my last school that I worked at, and then her husband and her daughter, who I, see pretty regularly. Another one was my best friend's fiance. One is my current teacher friend at the school that I'm at. And then three, four, five of them were librarians that have either I've worked with directly or were in a district that I worked with and that we still are really good friends now. So it made me interested into how I choose those that I interact with them. Oh, and one of them was my husband. So how I choose those who interact with in my daily life and who I choose as my friends, and how those people end up being my close friends. One more thing I wanted to add was Karina and I have actually never worked together, and we've actually only met in person like three or four times. We actually became really, really close through the pandemic, and we consider ourselves best friends. But like her son is my godson and I've never met him in person, but because of the relationship we've had that started on social media and how, we work really closely together, we've done a lot of library presentations together and now we're in this program together. It's interesting how the way we interact with people influences our relationships with them. And so that is what I took from this survey. And it made me notice how my friends' hobbies influence their choice of books. So, for instance, my friend Michelle, who was my assistant at my last school, she and her family are big basketball fans, excuse me, and her husband's choice, I assume it was her husband's choice of the Steph Curry book, how that influenced his choice of book, and how those people are part of my life based on past interactions or relationships. And this This survey is definitely influencing how I think about making my friends and the places that I make them from. So if you've noticed a trend in the people that I asked to take the survey is it's people that I have worked with. So, like I said about Garina, we do a lot of stuff together. My best friend and I actually became friends when we were both working at the same elementary school, and I met her fiance, who also took the survey. And then, like I said, a bunch of my friends who are librarians also filled this out. So, as a young 30 something, I often laugh with my really close friends because most of my close friends don't live in Austin where I do, and we discuss how hard it is to make friends as an adult, especially being that we have jobs, we have husbands, we have animals, we have kids, we have, doctoral programs, we have other things we're working on. And so it's always so hard to make time to have friends or to, be a good friend and make friends. And now I'm noticing that most of my friends are people that I've worked with. And I'm now thinking of how can I find friends outside of work or how can I try to make friends? So that's interesting that I definitely did not expect to come out of this. So that is my first Explorer activity, and I hope that you enjoyed this. If you have any questions, feel free to email me at smg050@shsu.edu or contact me on all forms of social media at Let's Be a Librarian. Thanks. Bye.